Hi guys, welcome back to another GES mini episode, and today I will be talking about which of the Universal monsters, at least the main ones, that I think are the best. I'll just be talking about like the main big ones, so I won't be talking about like Dr. Burke or like the adaptation of The Raven or any weird things that may happen in any of the sequels that I have not watched. This is not a ranking, though I will be deciding which monster I think is the best and the most compelling overall, mainly pulling from their interpretations in the original Universal Monsters films, but also the idea of the characters overall. As for the main ghoul, the Phantom of the Opera, I definitely love this story, find it very compelling and heartbreaking, though not as compelling, heartbreaking, and nuanced as other monsters. And visually, and in a more abstract sense, this creature is not as scary as other ones. If this character was more visually unsettling and there was more dramatic, violent, and unexpected things that happened in relation to the character in the story, then I might appreciate this character more. But as for now, this is still a great creature, just not the best. I definitely like the Invisible Man, but as for a fear and pure horror factor, it just really isn't there. But a lot can be done with the concept, especially in a thriller and suspense aspect, but nothing that really stays with you other than the emotional aspects. The Invisible Man might be, in terms of potential and the actual application in many different iterations, the most compelling character. I mean, it's just crazy to imagine fading away and what that can do to your psyche, and I think that is explored well in many different iterations. Though this character just really isn't scary, but definitely can be made so, but there are other ones that I just feel are better. Now, is the Mummy the best? Well, judging by the fact that you're only halfway through the video, no. If this character was usually depicted as more intelligent and conniving, a larger fear factor would be there. You could do a lot visually with the Mummy and interpret the Mummy in a lot of different ways. It really just has to be some kind of Egyptian undead being. So there's a lot you can do conceptually with the character, but usually the character just comes off as a zombie with toilet paper, which is kind of just a lamer version of a zombie. I definitely love the Creature of the Black Lagoon in terms of how compelling the story usually is and how the character is actually sympathetic and not really the bad guy. You can definitely make this character visually scary, but the fact that it is usually tied to themes that are simplistic compared to other characters on this list just doesn't meet the par. The Bride of Frankenstein, though, is potentially the most compelling character on this list, other than the Invisible Man, to me, conceptually. But in performance, definitely the most compelling character. I mean, there have been so many good performances. Okay, I guess not that many, but definitely the original, most iconic performance is really good for this character. And the story is very compelling and emotional, though there is really no fear factor for this character. So that's the only reason that I would really have this character beat out by others, and also the fact that others are just more iconic. Speaking of a character that is iconic and that I love, Dracula. Dracula's biggest weakness is the fact that he is portrayed inconsistently among many interpretations. The original Bela Lugosi interpretation is iconic, though many others deviate from that version and even from the original book's source version. The character is compelling, the fear factor is there, and there's just always so much charisma and cool iconography surrounding the character. Though the best versions of Dracula aren't always inhuman or monstrous, they're usually very human and compelling and flawed. If there's a version of Dracula that balances these elements more so and makes him feel truly supernatural and otherworldly while also having a human connection, that would be best. But I just really wish he was more monstrous and otherworldly compared to the next two monsters. The Wolfman is generally my favorite. I mean, I like werewolves more than vampires, and more than all these other creatures, which are kind of just different variations of ghouls and like undead zombie kind of characters. The character is compelling, the themes and concept are there, the stories are always about human nature, morality, and inner darkness, and the character can be very versatile and adapted into many different genres or tones, and this character is monstrous, and I feel like it can be a lot scarier than many of the other creatures listed, though the character aspects on this creature are definitely limited compared to the next one, and characters such as Dracula, the Invisible Man, and the Bride of Frankenstein. But Frankenstein is just the magnum opus. He's the perfect amount of imposing monstrousness and character. There's not really much more I could say. He's the best. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video where I reviewed the Universal monsters.